On behalf of the Fika and Scale team, we just like to welcome all of you to our annual Data Summit. The goal of the summit today is to bring together a community of the top data-centric leaders to provide a forum for us to share ideas and sort of experiences that we've had.
A lot of the startups actually don't really start to think about platforms. Different pieces of the organization will like to move fast and will reinvent the wheel a little bit, and that's totally fine. Still, in the broader perspective, like the platform thinking is still new and young, and now the big decision we have to make, like, do we rip the bandage quickly or slowly? So I think that's the reason you still see some of these things.
Looking at a data scientist or an analyst as a customer, one really has to think about the end-to-end workflows on this front and think about what are the environments that really speak most to the data scientist or analyst and they feel most comfortable with.
Having a system where it's easy to use a diverse range of features but ensure that they are all the value at the appropriate time is very, very important. And building out tools that can do that at scale is a very important challenge.
Working from an operations perspective is pretty much thinking about failure, thinking about the worst case scenario, thinking about how do we recover from this, thinking about what do we fall back to. It's a very pessimistic kind of mindset that I feel like is somewhat foreign to most data scientists and machine learning engineers I work with.
Can we do something where we can take the data and the smart data that we have, but allow a Chinese user and an English-speaking user and folks who are in the middle who are searching across the two languages to be able to type in mixed language queries or individual language queries and still get great results?
The public clouds are just in a much better position to be able to provide services not only in terms of functionality but also in terms of security for organizations to be able to consume as opposed to having to stand up so much of it themselves. And so I think that even though there are differing levels of comfort right now, everyone will ultimately get there.
So much of people's internal security teams have been focused on being sort of a network security team, and really the future of what their responsibility kind of lies in the public cloud is really more on the data layer or the application layer, or really in some ways the endpoint there.
So Docker, while it's not obviously data itself, right? If data is the oil, Docker is the pipes and the pumps and everything else. It's very important infrastructure to allow data scientists and those that are operating these data pipelines to focus on the task at hand, to focus on the value add, then kind of rebuilding the infrastructure each and every time you want to run a model, or each and every time you want to try out a new tool.
I believe that data is going to become increasingly central and important in our everyday lives, both personally and professionally. And tomorrow's market leaders, many of whom you heard from today, are going to be defined not just by the software that they build, but also by how they leverage data and make use of it in order to improve their business.